Folks, we're going to get it started here shortly. I was just trying to get the, 8 minutes of stagnant out the way where you can't say anything wrong. So to speak. What up, G24? Ungame Billy, QZ, appreciate the pull up. And it looked like we got 7 other folks, or 4 other folks in the building. Sorry. Oh, damn. Am I on mute? Am I on mute? Can't hear me. One, two. Yes, sir. Appreciate the pull up. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. I wasn't, but we'll get to that here in a minute. We'll get to that. What happened? What happened? What did it just stopped on me? What kind of? Man, it's tripping. I'm sorry, y'all. I guess that's time. Then I guess it's about that time, as my old art teacher would used to say. But that was what class was. Never mind, never mind. But appreciate the pull up. How's everybody doing today? Of course, I came on YouTube to vent. The job has been really horrible. Like the last maybe 2 weeks, really horrible. Some bullshit happened. I'm not even supposed to be cussing. Some BS happened at work, and nevertheless, I have to deal with it. But I was stressed out, and I ended up calling my sister, and she started talking about praying and yada yada. Just sticking to it and looking for just. But I literally called her so she, I don't want to say so she could talk me off the ledge, but kind of calm me down a little bit. Sis always know what to say. Appreciate her. Um, and I just started looking through YouTube, and I ended up on this White House Council about black men's mental health. And I was like, this is very interesting, very intriguing. So we're going to be watching a little bit of that. Let me pull it up real quick for the folks. Like I said, appreciate y'all pulling up. Let me get it ready for everyone. All right. Sorry. Sorry. But yeah, I really had a stressful one. And the thing is, I almost could have went like to the dark side, the manosphere side. It would be very, very easy because I want to say some of the questions. It's been with some of the customers, but a lot of the friction has been with the beautiful black woman in all its splendor, which of course we love. Of course we love. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing personal or anything, but and I understand the dynamics. They're used to a gentleman, and he was kind of taken abruptly away from him. But yada yada yada, and that's kind of this one led me there. So let's watch a little bit of this. But I thought it was very, you know what I'm saying? And there's something about blacks. And then, people saying Joe Biden don't care about black men. But here's a case right here that he does. It ain't, and technically, I don't want to get it twisted. It's not Joe Biden himself. It is his Surgeon General and Susan, I think it's Susan Rice. Yeah, Susan Rice. But we're going to watch it. Let's take a look.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for tuning in and for our participants for taking the time to join us today. We're very grateful to have you. I'm Susan Rice, President Biden's domestic policy advisor. As the president shared during his State of the Union address, we have to do more to tackle our mental health crisis, especially for our children and young people. Every day, I see how mental health challenges, often exacerbated by social media and other factors, are a force multiplier across so many of our most pressing challenges as a nation, compounding issues such as our labor shortage, homelessness, and criminal justice. And I also see this as the mother of 2 young adults. This crisis is increasingly acute among young black men. Nearly 40% of black teenagers say they struggle with persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness. And 22% of black teenagers reported seriously considering suicide. In 2019, 8.5% of black high school students attempted suicide, while 6.4% of white students did. And in 2018, 9% of black men reported feeling sad, while 6.9% of white men reported the same. Suicide rates among black Americans between the ages of 10 and 24 years old have increased 36% over the past 3 years. As compared with white Americans, half as many black Americans who need mental health treatment get such treatment, according to the National Institutes of Health. We know that young black men face structural racism, which results in trauma that follows them throughout their lives. And we know that getting help can be more challenging for men compared to women. So what are we doing? We're building a system with enough capacity and the right competencies to treat everyone. We're connecting people to the culturally competent and trauma-informed services that they need by tackling high costs and other barriers. We're creating environments that support mental health and well-being in school
What up,
or
Al?
online. We're making help more accessible and confidential by enabling you to dial or text 988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Thanks to these efforts by the Biden administration, now schools are able to hire more counselors, more nurses and social workers, and more underserved young Americans can access mental health providers. More dedicated staff are answering the phones at crisis call centers. But this is just the beginning, and obviously it's not nearly enough. We have a lot to learn from our young people. And so that's why I am so thrilled to be at this round table today with my colleague and friend, Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy, and our participants, Naheem Banks, Miles Noble, and Dr. Arthur Evans of the American Psychological Association. I'll now hand it off to the Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy.
Well, thank you so much, Ambassador Rice, and it has been wonderful to have you as a friend and partner in these efforts to address mental health. I'm also so glad that we are here today to talk about mental health and specifically about mental health and young Black men. You know, I was thinking back to my own personal experiences with mental health. As a child growing up, recognizing that I was different from a lot of the folks around me, recognizing that my skin color was different, my parents' cultural background was different, so much was different in my life.
Okay, now, of course, I've watched a little bit of this. It gets very interesting. We might skip around to a few parts, but we might just watch the whole thing. But I think it's very interesting and informative. And as Black people, we should be informed. So Joe Biden is actually, well, maybe trying to do something. We're gonna watch a little. But this, of course, of course, naturally towards younger Black men. But I think I'm still young. But I think it can serve a purpose for all of us. And please, if you are having issues, text that number down below. Just trying to do my part. Thanks, and thanks everybody. I see popcornologist Bella, what's going on? Thank y'all for pulling up.
Made me feel like I didn't quite fit in. And I struggled with my mental health during that time, but I also didn't tell anybody about it. My parents loved me, but I never told them. My sister loved me, I never told her. And it's because I felt a sense of shame, a shame that too many people feel when it comes to their mental health and well-being. And that's part of what we're trying to change. That shame persisted for a long time. Years later, I still remember being at the dining table as a high school student doing my homework on a Sunday when the phone rang, and picking up that phone and learning that my uncle had taken his own life in just a few miles away from us in a home he lived in. And I didn't know how to process that. But I also, in the days that followed, I saw how my family didn't really know how to process that. We didn't know how to talk about it with others. We felt a sense of guilt and shame. Again, a sense of shame that too many families feel who are dealing with suicide. It's taken us a long time to recognize as a country that mental health is health, that it's no less important than our physical health, and it's something we should be able to talk about as openly and as honestly as we would talk about a broken ankle or a sprained wrist. And we've got some ground to cover there because mental health at the end of the day is not just one thing on the side for us to worry about. It is our fuel that allows us to show up in the world for our family, at work, at school. And if our fuel tank is low, if our mental health is suffering, then we can't show up in the way we want to in the world. The fact that so many people are struggling with their mental health right now, and it really is, unfortunately, a monumental struggle for many communities. This puts not just our health, but also our economies and our communities at risk. And this is particularly true in the Black community, where sadly, in the last few years, we've seen a 36% increase in the suicide rate among young Black people. We've also seen that young Black men are more likely to die by suicide than Black women, and they're much less likely to ask for help than their white counterparts. This is part of what we've got to change. All this is happening against a backdrop of a broader youth mental health crisis, where the strain, of and stresses really of COVID-19, of violence in communities, particularly gun violence, where the adverse impacts of racism and systemic discrimination, and as well as where the adverse impacts of technology at times, particularly social media, have really conspired and come together to really hurt the mental health and well-being of young people in America. And that's why we've got to take action. It's why we've got to make sure that the future is different than the past. This is about fundamentally changing this status quo. And to do that, we want to build a movement around mental health, one that is firmly centered around the needs of young people and that has them at the table. And that's why I'm really grateful that President Biden, Vice President Harris, and Ambassador Rice and others in the administration have really made this a priority, because we all recognize that without our mental health, we can't be who we need to be. We can't show up as our best selves. So I'm grateful to have all of you here. As Ambassador Rice mentioned, for this conversation, we do have Dr. Evans with us. Arthur Evans is the CEO and Executive Vice President of the American Psychological Association, the leading scientific and professional organization representing psychology in the United States. Thank you, Dr. Evans, for being here to help us put the problem in context and also focus on solutions. I'm also grateful that we're joined by two brave, thoughtful, young men who are going to share some of their own wisdom and experiences with us. Miles Noble, a junior at Washington Liberty High School in Arlington, Virginia, and an aspiring professional soccer player. I only lasted a year in junior soccer, so you've got my admiration. And also Naheem Banks, who's a Los Angeles native, a senior at Howard University, where he's currently the chair of the Howard Student Association Senate. Thank you all so much again for joining us today. I'm going to kick off our questions with a question to Naheem. And Naheem, we're obviously here to talk about mental health. And I want you to just, at a personal level, just tell us a little bit about what shaped how you thought about mental health when you were growing up. And were there people you talked to about mental health? Were there TV shows or other cultural factors that influenced how you thought about mental health? Tell us a little bit about how that was shaped.
Yeah, of course. I think a large part of my experience with mental health was really through my family and my immediate family and our dynamic. As many of you all on the stage know, I think in Black communities.
I'm wondering, guys, do you think that it's a stigma to talk about mental health? Well, I'm sure it is, but I've kind of dealt with people, who go through some mental struggles. I don't know if we shunned them. I think in a sense, we didn't shun them. It was kind of, I would say we made fun of them, but we joked around with them in efforts to try and bring their morale up. But nevertheless, I wonder if you guys think that's a stigma in our community. I think it is, and I think it is. Well, let's continue. Of course, we need to get one of the older black males. Of course, this is for younger black males. It's geared toward, but I thought it was, valuable. We're always throwing some bad stuff. Let's maybe something helpful.
In particular, the concept of mental health or even receiving, therapy sessions or receiving any kind of help for your mental health has been kind of stigmatized. So for me, it was I came into this idea of mental health as something that was an issue or something that was a problem with me. And it's so funny because my dad always would walk around and he would see me doing work at the table during the pandemic, and he always said that it reminded him of like a painting of someone holding the world on their shoulders. So confiding in my twin sister, confiding in my older brother, confiding in my mother really showed me that I didn't have to just trauma dump on them all the time, but they actually encouraged me to get help, to go to therapy, to receive sessions, and for me to be my best self, because I wasn't able. And to your point, you're not able to be your best self when your mental health is in jeopardy. In order for me to be the best student, in order for me to be the best son, the best brother, the best worker, the best law school applicant, I'm gonna have to actually be at my best. And going to therapy sessions, finding a person of color that was young, that understood issues regarding relationships, issues regarding race, issues regarding school life and friendships really helped me to become not just a better person in general, but a better person in every aspect of my life, whether it was with my family, with my friends, or even in my work school balance, school life environment.
Naheem, if I can just follow up, tell us a little bit more about how you knew you needed to get help, and then how you found it when the time came.
Yeah, so for me, it was actually really hard to actually admit that I needed help. I could feel, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, when I actually started to, reach out to others for help. I just felt just an enormous stress over me. I felt that I was depressed. I wasn't being the same around my family. I wasn't playing video games with my brother like I normally do. I wasn't, gossiping with my twin sister like I normally do. I was getting out of my character. And that's when I realized that, there's not anything wrong with me, but I do need someone that's going to help me navigate the challenges that may come up in my life. So, starting therapy, and it was important for me to have someone that was going to show me new life skills, show me how to approach different problems, show me how to approach different relationships. And that's what made me get back to the person that I was. And it made me, get my first apartment coming back to after the COVID, or was still in the pandemic, but after the COVID-19 pandemic, and it helped me continue with my school and help me get even better grades. It helped me manage friendships. It helped me manage relationships in the workplace, and it really just helped me become a better person all around. And that's something that I think would never have happened if I didn't take that chance and take that leap of faith into receiving help that is often stigmatized in our specific communities.
Thank you so much. Dr. Evans, you see this every day in the critical work you do. Tell us what you and your colleagues are seeing every day as it relates to young Black men and their mental health, and what are we doing about it?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to be here. And, it's really heartening to hear you, Naeem, talk about your own experience, because when I became a psychologist 30 years ago, we didn't hear young people in general, and certainly not young Black men, talking about these issues so openly and talk.
So how do you get Black men to start talking about this openly and honestly without feeling weak? I think that's the conflict, the ultimate rub. But hopefully the doctor. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stop the vibe, y'all. But it's my show. No, but I was just curious. But let's get back. I'm wondering, how do we do that though? That's the ultimate. You know what I'm saying? Like how will we, in a sense, be able to be vulnerable? Because I'm sure you're admitting that you have some flaws and you need some help. That's the ultimate vulnerability, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure some stuff we all got. We don't want to know. We want to, as I say, keep your dirt under your nails. This is. But let's get back to the script. Sorry, doctor. I didn't mean to interrupt you. He is the doctor, of course, and I'm just the more. But appreciate y'all for pulling up. Pookie in the building. Everywhere. Hey, Pookie, this for you. Hey, I just messing with you. Appreciate you pulling up, man.
Talking about the way you have used your understanding to really advance yourself. And I think, Ambassador Rice, the thing that we're seeing is what you laid out very well, and Dr. Murthy as well, that African American men, young boys, are having a lot of struggles in mental health. And I think it's important to put that in the context of the broader country and what's happening to all of us. We know that, for example, before the pandemic, less than half of people who had behavioral health challenges received care. We know that after the pandemic, 3 to 4 times the people are experiencing rates of symptoms of depression and anxiety at the rates of 3 to 4 times what they were before the pandemic. So I think it's important to put this in the context of what's happening to everyone in the country. But Black men, Black boys have some particular challenges. Dr. Murthy mentioned the issue of racism, and we talk about racial trauma, race-based trauma in the field. Those are unique stressors for African American men that we have to pay attention to. But I also think it's important to talk about the strengths, because a lot of times when we approach these conversations, we only talk about those numbers. We know that the suicide rate, for example, grew at twice the rate of other groups for young African Americans. But it's also important to know that young Black men are working. Many of them work two jobs. They are members of their churches or their masjids. They're active in their churches. They're doing a lot of things to cope and to promote their mental health. And I think it's important to look at this issue both from what are the challenges, what are the unique challenges, but also what are the strengths that people bring, because that's how we really help people. It's not just to understand what are the challenges, but what are the strengths that people bring. And good clinicians work on both of those.
I would say, Dr. Evans, I think it's a really good point you bring up about focusing on the strengths as well, because sometimes we miss some of those. And I'm curious, given the trajectory of your career and how you've watched the evolution in people's willingness to talk about, about health, I'm curious, what changes have you seen in the willingness of young people to not only talk about mental health, but to actually seek out help? And are you seeing more young people supporting one another in the kind of peer support programs that we know are so effective?
Yes, we've seen a huge change. When I came into the field, first of all, people didn't talk openly about mental health generally. But what we've seen is a dramatic change in that. Part of that, I think, has to do with young people who are much more willing to talk about these issues. In fact, all the data show that the group that is most likely to talk openly about mental health are young people. And that's been pretty consistent. And so we know that young people are more likely. We know that people who are famous or well-known are more likely. I think that helps. I think the depictions in media are more positive about having a mental health challenge and working through that. So I think all of those things have contributed, and I think we have, at this point, I still think we have a long way to go, but I also know and have seen over the 30 years of my career a vast sea change in people's willingness to talk. And to the point you were making, Naheem, the first step in getting help is to recognize you have a problem. And the fact that you could recognize that you're different, that you're not responding the way that you typically respond, and that you wanted to do something about it is just a huge sea change. And I think it's just you're a great role model for many people.
Thank you, Doctor. Miles, love to hear your experience, particularly as a high school student. I know you have a psychologist in your family, so you may have been encouraged more than most, perhaps, at a young age to be able to be comfortable talking about what you were feeling and experiencing. But I'd love to hear both your experience and what you're seeing from your peers and colleagues at school.
Well, as you mentioned, having a psychologist in the house, mental health has always been a very prominent issue that we deal with almost every day. From my personal experience, this isn't even like the way I was raised, but I came up just believing that I had to deal with everything on my own. And I had to find out like recently that having trusted mentors or peers is something that I need in my life, and something that's very essential to me, because I need to be able to go to those people and be able to just pour my heart out and just be free with like my emotions and be able to express them in a way that I haven't been able to do before. But one major thing I see with my friends is we all kind of have that bond, even if it's not them coming to me saying that they're particularly sad about something. It's just the ability for everybody to be so free within our circle and just be able to express their emotions just in a way that we understand. It's a great feeling, and it's just I feel happy knowing that I'm a person like someone that I've found in my life. Knowing that I'm someone like that for somebody else it's a wonderful feeling to have. So.
Well, I just want to say what a beautiful description of friendship that you just shared. And if we all had friends like that, I think the world would be a better and healthier place.
Well, I do have friends like that,
and
buddy.
I do think one of the things
No, we don't.
that we are trying to do, certainly in the administration, is look at mental health really broadly. Because to your point, Miles, it's about not just whether you have access to care, it's about the friendships and relationships you have, right? It's about some of those forces that can help prevent mental health struggles from launching in the first place. And again, it's one of the reasons the approach that we have tried to take is one, invest a lot in treatment. We put billions of dollars into expanding access to mental health services through certified community behavioral health centers, getting counselors into schools. But we've also worked a lot on the workforce itself, trying to make sure that there are more people who are trained and available to help, as well as through more paths through which they can be accessed, like the 988 crisis line. But the prevention piece is also very important. I think all of us, I've never met somebody who said, I'd rather get diabetes or get depression than deal with it rather than prevent it in the first place. And so the question is, what are we doing to help address those deeper root causes? And that is where some of the initiatives and the work that this administration is doing on violence prevention, for example, on addressing structural racism and focusing on equity, right, to ensure that we're lifting up all populations. This is why the investments in schools also, so that schools can build the foundation for good, strong mental health for kids from the earliest of ages, whether it's through social emotional curricula or other investments. All of this becomes really important. Sometimes, you can look at this work and say, gosh, it seems like there's a whole bunch of words and acronyms and policies that are being thrown about. And part of the reason there's so much that's being done is because it's needed. This problem has developed over a long period of time. And this is a time where we've all finally just said collectively, this has to stop. We've got to do something different. And it's going to take working on different fronts: prevention, treatment, addressing stigma. That's a hard work, that we started and that we want to continue.
One of the big problems is there are not enough mental health care providers. There are not enough peer counselors, there are not enough psychiatrists, psychologists, and everybody in between, social workers. And even more acutely, there are not enough diverse mental health providers, and particularly Black American. And so I'm wondering, as you, Naheem, went about trying to find somebody to help, how did you do that? Was it through Howard? Was it through some other means? And I'm also curious, Miles, at your school, is there anybody there that you could turn to whose job it is to be attentive to the students' mental health? So go ahead, Miles, and then I'll come to.
Actually, there is. I have a equity and excellence counselor at my school. His name is Mr. Sample, and he has this club called BSU, which is Black Student Union. So whenever I enter into that room, I just feel like I can be myself. And going about finding someone who I could just be my true self with was a struggle, because I've always wanted it to be someone that looks like me, because I feel like the experience that I will share with someone is someone that most closely resembles me. So finding that in a person of color, being able to go to them and just be, like I said, free with myself and free with my emotions, it was a wonderful experience. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think for me, I think that it was important for me to find help and find someone that was a person of color, specifically a Black individual, because I know specifically the issues and the stereotypes and the racism that we all experience, and it was important for me to find someone that really understood that, and I didn't have to overly explain. They just kind of got it, because there's some unspoken things that Black Americans go through, especially when it comes to our mental health. So it was important for me to find someone that understood that, but was also able to challenge my thinking on it as well throughout that process. And I think Howard University has done a great job in also trying to combat that stigma of mental health and things like that, specifically at our school, because now we are starting to get things like mental health days, so students can have a day off and can prioritize work or just relaxation. And I know our Office of University Counseling has done a great job with group therapy sessions that I've attended with friends, with individual counseling sessions, and I think that having our HBCUs and having our progressive Black students challenging some of the stigma that we're experiencing has really helped me shape my whole mindset on mental health. And I can see that through the initiatives that Howard is doing, whether it's through our Office of University Counseling, whether it's through our mental health days, that they're constantly challenging that stigma, and they're doing it in a great way where students are now able to talk about it more freely and are actually receiving more help than what I've seen in recent years.
Dr. Evans, same kind of broad question.
Sure.
How is the field responding to this dearth of diverse providers?
Sure. We have to do more to get more people into the pipeline and have pathways into the field, all of the mental health professions. And addressing issues like student debt is probably the biggest challenge that we have to face. If we can deal with that issue, we can get a lot more people trained in this country. But I hope they are. But what Dr. Murthy said, I think it's so important that we have to work more broadly and think about working upstream, more prevention. If the workforce is only people who are licensed mental health professionals, we'll never get there. We have to work upstream, preventing people from developing problems. You've done some great work, both in looking at prevention broadly, but specifically looking at issues like the workplace. Most of us have had the experience of working in toxic workplaces. We know actually from psychological research what are some of the correlates of good, healthy workplaces that lead to better psychological health. And your recent report on that issue is a great example of the kinds of
tHER,
things
that
that we
might
need to
be.
be
I'm
doing.
definitely gonna
We
do
need to be
something on
doing
that
more
because that's what it
resilience
feels like.
programs
I'm
in
sorry.
schools.
Sorry about that.
We can try to treat all of the kids once they develop problems, or we can create psychologically healthy school environments where kids are less likely to develop problems. Or if they do develop problems, they are identified much earlier and quicker, and and children are.
Nigga, I have to agree with you. They should teach it in school. I think in China, like the first 3 years they do like an hour of meditation like every day in China. The kids, not though. I think the country might do it too, but the kids for sure they do it like an hour a day just to relieve stress and everything like that. Or not relieve stress, but get them focused and shit like that. You gotta do it at that young age. That brain is growing, that imagination. That y'all really don't realize how powerful your imagination is, man. It really is, man. You ever thought like, man, I wonder what's up with Tony? And then you run into Tony 2, 3 days later, your mind is powerful. But the older you get, the less the less powerful it is from what I'm learning. The older I get, feel like a dummy. Anywho.
Are sent for care much earlier. Those kinds of upstream strategies means that the workforce isn't now limited only to people who have a license and a degree, but now you have teachers who have some basic level of understanding. You have managers who are managing in a way and creating environments where people can get help much quicker. We have to do that if we have any shot at trying to deal with the numbers. As I mentioned earlier, less than half the people who have mental health problems get access to care. And if we double, so that would mean we would need to double the number of people. But if we can work further upstream, I think we have a much better shot of reducing the demand and helping people be psychologically healthy.
Well, thanks, Dr. Evans. I think we couldn't agree more with the need to go upstream and also to work on the treatment side. Yeah, I'm curious, Naheem Miles, you've shared a lot about your own personal stories. If you think beyond your own story about the other young Black men that you know in your life,
Exactly.
help us understand what
1-7,
are some
right.
of the unique challenges that the broader community of young Black men are facing when it comes to both talking about mental health, but also getting help with mental health struggles.
Yeah, for me, and to Miles's point, I grew up also thinking that we as Black men weren't supposed to necessarily show emotion, or that we were supposed to handle everything on our own without any help, because that's what quote unquote a man is supposed to do. So I think in particular when we have that mindset growing up, and we pass it on to us as children, we pass it on to our children. That cycle just continues to grow and continues to grow. It continues on and on. But I think what really helps that is us stopping that cycle. Miles stated that he had friends that he could confide in. I have friends that I can confide in. I'm receiving help, outside help as well. So I think challenging it through children, and them passing it forward to their family and their children and their children's children, I think is a wonderful way to try and combat the issues that Black men specifically face when it comes to their mental health and mental health challenges.
Yeah, I would say the biggest issue is definitely like people realizing that they need help. Not only that, but being able to ask for it, because I feel like a lot of people in my situation or similar to Naheem's situation, they don't really realize that they need help until the problem is so big that it's like unbearable and they can't deal with it any longer. So the best way to go about it, I feel like, is just finding like just someone, just finding help somewhere, no matter where it is, in school, at home, outside of school or home, just being able to trust somebody and or trust like a group of people, like with your feelings and with your emotions, and being able to go to them and just say, like, this is my problem and this is how I need help moving forward, and being able to deal with it moving forward.
Well, I want to just thank you all so much for being willing to share your experiences. Doctor, thank you so much for the great work you and your colleagues do. Young people like you, Miles and Naheem, are really encouraging and inspirational, because what you're saying is that it is possible to recognize when you need help. It is possible to reach out to friends, to counselors, to professionals, and get that and be just as good, if not a better person than you came in to that experience with. And so I hope for those that are have listened and watched this today, that you feel some encouragement in your stories and experience to seek help if that's what you need. And you've certainly inspired me, and I know Dr. Murthy as well, to double down on the important work that this administration is doing to make access to mental health care available to as many people who need it, to do the good work of prevention so that we shrink the number of people who are facing this challenge. I see it as a mom, I see it as a policymaker, and I think there's really no more pressing issue for all of us to work on across geographic, racial, political lines. This is something that can and must bring us together. So thank you all so much.
And just to echo what Ambassador Rice said, I'm grateful for this time that we had together. And one of the things that gives me great hope about our ability to take on these challenges is that there are young men like you who are willing to step up and share your stories, speak with courage, that there are experts like Dr. Evans who are not only helping, the people around them, but are helping an entire nation see a path forward when it comes to addressing inequities in mental health. I do think as men, a lot of times we were raised with this notion that we, in order to be a man, that we can't rely on anyone else, that we can't show emotion, and that we can't, express any source of weakness, right? But the truth is that that's part of being human, is expressing your emotion, right? Part of being human is recognizing that we need to rely on others from time to time. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a source of strength, not weakness. And part of, I think, what we've got to do going forward is ensure that just as we are working hard on the policy side to make more care available to people, to invest in prevention in our schools and workplaces and communities, that each of us are also doing our part to help change that culture around mental health, so that people don't feel that if they are struggling, that they're broken somehow, that if they need help, that they have to be ashamed, that they need to be one people feel that they can talk about this, that they can look to their mental health again, not again as a source of, again, something that's always wrong with you, but really as a source of strength. When you invest in your mental health, it again allows you to be better in every aspect of your life. So that's what you're helping us do today. I'm just very grateful for you. And just lastly, incredibly grateful for Ambassador Rice, who has been an incredible champion on this issue inside our administration. And all of us are working together, to make sure that, again, tomorrow and the days after that are better than the days before. So appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you guys for watching, man. I appreciate what's going on. Nisha, appreciate the pull up. Natasha, thank y'all for coming. Mela, Popcorn Outs, I think I shouted out y'all already, right? Nika, if I forgot, I'm sorry. I think I might have forgot one more person. I ain't even see She, what up, man? My apologies, man. I ain't even, What happened to? What happened to that? What happened to that? Exactly. That's what we want to go into and change policy. Yeah, man. So I guess we can never say that Joe Biden doesn't care about the health of at least young black men, right? No, but I mean, I think that's a good positive thing, and of course, that's not going to be highlighted on YouTube. But yes, the conscious moron is bringing it to y'all. No, I'm just messing with you. I thought he was actually talking about something that I was looking for. He was talking about the Divine Nine. I'm not sure if y'all know what that is, but it's sororities and yada yada. But I couldn't find those remarks, but I'm gonna look into them, and I might start doing reviews of this channel. It's the White House channel, keep abreast of it. But please, man, don't feel bad if you crazy, cause we all a little crazy inside. But if you need some help, if you need somebody to talk to, text that number down there, 988, and I guess hit X. I mean, not X, but hit help and text help. That's the crisis and suicide hotline. So, we just try a little something, something. So, hold on, let's see. Could you imagine RBR on that panel? Do you think? You know what, man? I think he would have been reserved because it was Joe Biden. I really do. I think he would. I think he would have played. He would have knew how to play his part. Now that's the one good thing I say. I think he know how to play his part when he outwit. He know how to fall back and just let the information come and kind of co-sign. But that's just my opinion. Of course, Of course, that means nothing. But like I said, I was stressed out at work, and I was lucky enough to have, I have family and friends, and I called my sister this particular time, but I have like a nephew who's technically, well, he's my brother, but he's technically my nephew. We kind of a few years apart. Long story, no worries about that. But, I have him and my brothers and my friends. So, luckily I have a network of people who I can call on, and they can make me feel like I'm not such a loser at times. And they support me. And if you don't have that, but maybe we need to, start a little place where everybody can do that anonymously. Just get that vented off your chest. Maybe we'll make that a moron's mission. You want to come up and change your avatar and don't want to porn bomb nobody and want to get some feelings off. What's going on, Alex Bleeping Jones? Appreciate the pull up. You just missed the riveting commentary by Joe Biden about black men's mental health. So, Alex, if one thing for sure, Joe Biden does care about young black men. And you know what? I thought this was also interesting with the other study that just came out about the 60% of young men and 30% of young women being single and not wanting a relationship. At least they are trying to, combat one thing with the other, as they say. But I'm sure people won't bring this up on the YouTube streets. But you hear it here first. We always going to do a little ratchetness and not too much information, I guess. I don't know. This is still a work in progress. Somebody asked me what my channel was about. What you mean now? You want to come up now and do it? I mean, we could do it now. Does somebody want to come up? Well, I guess they couldn't say it. That would be, maybe I should do that, huh? I can open up the chat for a little bit. If you want to come up and fake, I don't want to say fake vent, but vent and have and be anonymous and just get it off your chest. I guess we could do that for a second. Yeah, what y'all think? Y'all think that's a good idea? Y'all want to vent for a little bit? I can waste about a half hour, 45 minutes. Somebody want to come up and vent? Okay. Let's turn a little music on. Just a wee bit. Why is there always an echo? That's the only thing. Okay, I'm sorry. Is it an echo? Y'all hear echo, or is it me? Because I'm listening to it on two devices. Sound like it's echoing. If it's not echoing, guys, put a 1 in that chat for me, man. sound like it's echoing this time, but I could be wrong. Okay, nobody's saying anything, so it must not be an echo. Maybe we should go to the analytics. Go to the analytics real quick. See how many people watched and liked the video. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was somebody. Is that a woman? It's only a temporary fix? Uh-oh, what happened? The blood clean. Let me get this together, y'all. Let me remove it real quick. Sorry. There we go. Okay. We back. There we go. Maybe that shit just dropped it. Cause I don't know what just happened. Okay, there we go. What's going on here? Alcohol makes it worse. Weed numbs the pain. Okay, so we've had 64 views. I appreciate that. 64 views and we only been on for an hour. That's like 1 minute an hour. Moderate activity is not. This includes mention that being held for review. Show activity, yeah. Show that activity, man. You can hide moderate activity. We've had 645 on the view. The average view duration. We've had 64 viewers. No, 64 views. We have 12 people currently in the building. That's what it says so far. Okay, it sounds great. Okay, thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate it, man. I want to thank the ladies for pulling up, man. Thank y'all, man. It's been some beautiful black women. And you know what? I'm so grateful for y'all because at work it be kind of, I want to say the women aren't beautiful there, but they kind of, you know what it is? I know what it already is. They are spoiled, which is understandable. Like, that you get to know a certain person, and they get to know the way that you like your food, yada yada, and it becomes, it's literally a relationship. Like, and see, that's the crazy thing. Like, I know how to, I won't say turn on the mojo a little bit, but especially when it comes to the food element and ladies, it's real, I won't say easy, but when women see you cooking, yeah, they kind of like that, fellas. That's a little tip. They like that. They like it for real. I've heard that a lot. And then if you kind of charming and not too bad on the eyes, it helps. But I've been having on my mask, and I've had like literally this shitty attitude because, like I said, how it transpired was just some BS. But that's you got to take the good with the bad, as my sister was saying. But I didn't really want to believe her. But I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be getting everybody else's vent now. I'm sorry. Let me copy the link, and if somebody wants to come up and vent, and you can of course be anonymous if you want to. We will put up the porn blocker so they won't see you. Okay. Drop the link in the chat real quick. We can stay up for a little bit. Come you're the second person I know who uses it. He uses it too, man. I started this, though. I want to submit, but this, I think I was want to say, well, like, maybe the fourth. I know a young lady, Lovely Peace. What's going on to her? Maybe she watching the replay. She uses that. Well, I've been starting to see a lot of people. I think people, you kind of use it as a backup. You know what I'm saying? But I kind of like it. I'm trying to. And then they gave me an affiliate, but I don't even be shopping the affiliate. Once I get on, I'm gonna start getting back on to it. Get back up. And that's, you know what? Maybe that's why I started doing the live tonight. Because I'm like, man, I wish I had my YouTube channel live. I could just stream all day and get paid, man. Like RBR said, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just start doing this. Oh man, that would be so dope if I could do it at work, and so y'all can just see. But like I said, I could have really, I won't say went mainstream, but I could understand why these young dudes who can't handle the pressures of that, and they were still like, but I know it's not personal, it's business. So, and the thing is, do I want to like, just, I can't really talk about it. But yeah, we're gonna, we're gonna let somebody else vent if they want to come up and vent. Let me switch back to the vent real quick. Let's move this real quick. Exit screen. All right. We'll forget. Okay, so we throw up a new joint. Yeah, but yeah, it's funny. In a few months, I'm gonna talk about it and tell. I won't say live, but I'm gonna do a recording, and I'm gonna broadcast it for like 3 months, and then we'll see what it do. Set it up for 3 months down the road. Y'all can y'all can see the realness. Hopefully, I'll be cooking videos instead of cooking at work. So everybody like and subscribe so I can start cooking and cussing people out as I'm cooking. Okay, wouldn't that be the ultimate show? I think that would be cussing you out and cooking. I can give you some advice while cooking. That's what my mom used to. Maybe that might not be a bad show though. I won't say she wouldn't cuss me out, but we would always talk as she was cooking or as I was cooking. I was, kind of time together during the day. I know that sounds crazy, yeah, because when I'm the youngest, so when I was born, like I was late night mistake. I won't be the first to deny that one. I was a late night mistake. So it was kind of always me and my mother. My father wasn't. My mother and my father weren't together, but he had his own spot. But primarily, I lived with my mother. Oh yeah, Deacon cool, man. Deacon cool everywhere. I don't see him in the thing though. Is Deacon alright? Deacon's a cool brother, man. You don't listen to RBR, man. Don't listen. The Deacon's the real brother, man. And you know what? I'm gonna let you, Deacon. We ain't gonna even talk about that. But like I said, I was. Dang, what was I talking about? Me and my mother would always, talk during cooking about any and everything. I should really start. I want to start telling little stories of my mother, but she was. Y'all think I want to say I'm funny, but my mother was hilarious. Like that's why it was. The older I got, the funnier it was to talk to her, which is crazy. But like she was, some of the things how she thought was very interesting. But nevertheless, she would talk and cuss us out sometimes. It'd be me and my friends and we'd be just chilling and laughing. That might not be a bad idea, cooking and cussing folks out when we were talking. That might not be. Yeah, you come up and vent. But it doesn't seem like anybody's coming up. So, I can go and get ready for work, man. But I appreciate y'all pulling up. And if you didn't get a chance to go and check that out, we might start doing reviews on the actual. Hold on. Let's go back to. Let's see. That was the White House YouTube channel, though, guys. So we might start doing reviews because they had a few more things in there, and I think Joe Biden was doing something tonight. So that's how I kind of I got hip to it. But man, I just want to thank y'all for coming out, man. I think we're about to end it here. You know what I mean? Please, everybody, if y'all having trouble and you're stressed out, call, text them. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully you got somebody you can talk to. And if they can't help you, hopefully, that little number will help you, man. Let me throw them a little outro scene. Like, I ain't get that right. I'm sorry. Didn't I just take over? It's supposed to smoothly I know what I did wrong. I don't have it in studio mode. See, I had now. Hold on, okay. There it is. Okay. Hold on. Give me 1 sec. Hello. How are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good. I thought my camera was on.
No. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I'd have let you know.
No, that's fine either way. I
What?
really I commend you for um, this broadcast. There are a lot of young black men who don't have someone to confide in, right? And there was a time when bros stuck together. Like they would formulate, lifelong friendships in primary school. You know, they knew each other since third grade or something like that, and they grew up together, and they would, help lead one another in decision making and all types of different important aspects of their lives. It's just our community as a people just isn't as close as it used to be. And so you got a lot of and then we're not going to talk about the video game addiction. So there are a lot of isolators out there, and they need something where they can reach out and express themselves. And I appreciate also what you said about creativity. um, a lot of people don't know how important it is to develop your creativity. That can be the source of your wealth if you know how to manage it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thoughts,
But
Malik?
I just wanted to say thank you for this broadcast because it's an important topic.
Oh, thank you. Well, we definitely gonna have to revisit it then. You know what I mean? I think it's important too. Like I said, and you funny you just mentioned that. I have friends that I've known for like I want to say almost 30 years now. We went to middle like my three closest friends. Like we was talking about
Hmm.
that when I went home about how we met. Like man, remember Miss D's did this. But yeah, I think that is crucial to have those type of bonds because those people kind of keep you. I want to say you straight, but they give you the truth no matter how you feel about it because they know that they're doing it out of love and not out of spite. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
you get a lot on social media nowadays.
And with the parents being justifiably so paranoid about just letting their kids play outside, there is no bonding at a youthful age like it used to be unless there's organized sports, and even that is iffy because most children these days are prioritizing video games. They're only doing these after school activities because the parents are forcing them to, as opposed to what they've really grown accustomed to wanting in their life, which is more screen time. That's what they want. These young children, like I'm talking 10 years old, they want screen time.
But you got to think
You know,
that's all they know for 10 years. And just being that young and soaking up all that information that fast, I think you will become addicted to it. I was
that
thinking,
is that is so wild when you offer a child the opportunity to play softball or baseball or that some sport as opposed to screen time, they choose screen time.
but you think they could play that on screen time. No, they could play baseball. They could drive. I just seen a kid take his mom's car on a high speed chase because she wouldn't let him get on the computer, and he was whipping the car like you've been playing Grand Theft Auto the past 10 years. I'm like, dang, like high
and
speed. Damn.
and this is what it's come to. These children, oh, it's almost frightening to put them on punishment by taking away their screen time because they get psychotic on you. You know, it's like, oh, you gonna take away my devices? Okay, I got something for your ass. You know what I'm saying? These children, they get because they are influenced by online behavior, and oftentimes online behavior is unscrupulous. It's very, I don't know how to put it. Devious. There's a lot of devious online activity that young children are exposed to, and they because they have imagination, okay, because they have imagination, they can create scenarios as to how to get away with punishing a caregiver in the event that they are being punished. The get back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And those are those are children that weren't disciplined prior to 7 years old. I'm not saying you got to put the fear of God in them, okay? I'm just saying that a child has to learn that you are the God in their life, and to fear God is the beginning of wisdom, okay? And when I say make them fear you, I'm not talking about corporal punishment. I'm talking about having them understand that life without you is suffering compared to life without you. Once they get that, then they wouldn't think twice about deceiving you, or going behind your back, or creating some type of scenario where they're going to retaliate against you, taking away their devices and screen time. Because a lot of these children that retaliate against their parents is because this was a different scenario. Like a lot of parents didn't grow up with what it's like to be addicted to screen time.
Right.
So they don't think it's a big deal. But
Yeah.
to these children who are in their teenage years, it's a big deal to them.
You know what? I think they almost equated like we used to equate it like being stuck in your room, but it's almost literally the opposite of that. You taking everything away from them kids, like, and not realizing.
That's their outlet for whatever it is they want to do. And when you take that away from them, depending on how they prioritize authority, it can get really, really testy,
Right.
you know. But that's just for people. See, and I only say that because there are so many caregivers, otherwise known as parents, that have to juggle different responsibilities. You have to go to work and maintain, a credible presence at work, and then you have to attend to your children. And sometimes it is easier just to sit them in front of a screen
Oh,
of their choice.
it's much. I almost said
It,
more
it
convenient.
is.
Yeah, 'cause-
It's very convenient. Like that's the babysitter, damn it, shit. Like I want to kick my feet up. I want, like I'm not saying me because I've already raised my child. I'm talking about those who have to, like, take for instance a nurse, right? Somebody who's a registered nurse. They're working a 12-hour shift. They come home, they're tired, baby. They are tired. And then they have to deal with, some semblance of normalcy with their child after school.
right.
That's exhausting. And so it is very tempting to fall down on that little convenience of an invention, you know, called technology, where you just sit them in front of a screen and that'll shut them up. That'll keep them off your back and all that other kind of stuff that people, but see, while that's happening, the child is learning to prioritize that screen time instead of what they otherwise should be prioritizing. That's just my humble thought. I'm not an expert in these types of things. This is just my observation.
Right, right. Just yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm wondering, it has to be some type of, because I'm sure they don't do this in China, like, because the TikTok in China is completely, I won't say completely different than the one we have here, but a lot of the stuff that goes on the TikTok here, they don't even allow over in China. So I mean, I think it's. I heard Al Green once, he was talking about it
They
like,
don't even allow sex in China.
yeah, that's well, no, that don't. I think that.
No, like you young people over there, they don't know what sex is. They think
How-
they think if you hug each other, you're gonna get pregnant.
Oh wow.
It's crazy. I saw a I wish I could bring that video up, but when I heard that, I said, no, that couldn't be true. But apparently it is.
Wow, how could you just not be curious by nature though?
They
Especially
do-
after puberty. Like, hold on, you looking a little good there, girl.
they're teaching them to deny their carnal desires. Like, okay, you just going through a phase. Whenever you get, like we call it horny, we prioritize being horny, right? In this country, in
Right.
that country, they don't prioritize that.
But
They don't.
you know what's funny though? Like I was just saying that when they first go to school, the first like I want to say when they until the fourth grade, they like meditate for an hour. You know what I'm saying? And like they don't really stress the. I want to say they don't stress the importance of math and stuff, but uh,
But the
it's more
but
important to be a balanced person.
but the meditations are guided. It'd be different if they had quiet time and we suggest you meditate. No, these are guided meditations. They're telling them what to think. They're programming them.
But you don't think we all get programmed?
We
Especially
do, we do, but not. We get programmed. What's that word? Not overtly, but
covert.
whatever that word is. But you know what I'm saying? It's undercover. We get.
Covert is undercover though.
Okay, well, covert then. So that's what's happening when it comes to programming with us. These ads and suggestions
Liminal
and
thoughts.
yeah, all of it's programming. That's why they call it programming. It's tell lie vision. You
Tell
know,
lies vision. Everybody say that now.
yeah, because it tells you lies. Even the news. That broke my heart when regular news broadcasts are actually under an agenda.
But when do you think that started? I mean, I don't think it's always been that way. It's just more
It's always been that way.
overtly now. I think that's what we're trying to say. Convert.
It's always been that way. Even when television was first invented, the TV shows were designed around the commercial product.
Right, right. The cigarettes. That's why regular
Yeah,
was in here.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the TV show was designed to get you to buy the cigarettes or to buy the soap or the spaghetti or whatever the hell they were selling.
Right.
It's been programming from the start.
Damn, that's crazy.
But it was so subliminal. It's like all we could think about was see, they get you all comfortable and cozy and and that opens your mind up to accept the message that they're going to send to you. Next thing you know, you loyal to Ivory soap for some reason. Yeah.
Must have Irish fling.
I only use Ivory soap, damn it. Well, why? I don't know, I just do. Is my show on yet? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
They don't realize it's because of the advertisements, and that's what's running everything.
I never understood that the powers that be wanted to control. I don't want to say wanted to control people, but just limit them. Like I mean, like
For the love of money, baby.
just saying though, we could be so much further ahead. You got to think about it, man. Like how much like religion and propaganda has stopped just the human.
Well, imagine this: if it wasn't for poor people, where would rich people be? Wealthy people don't want the average person to have wealth. Like they,
I mean, not
somebody's
even
got to be the footstool.
just the balance. You know what I mean? Just everybody.
That's
It's funny. I asked that one day in like sociology class. Would everybody want everybody to be equal to them? And most people was like, no. You got you know.
Ain't that sad? That's sad to me.
Then we wouldn't have none of this strife, none of this. Like we'd all be equal. Like
There
nah.
would be no crime or none of that. And the problem with that is, if there's no crime, then what are you going to say to all the people who are employed as correctional officers and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all a hamster wheel. Everything is running according to a system. The system is designed for you to run on it like a hamster wheel. That's the way the system is designed. It's a
I,
revolving door, to be more.
in the time, man. That's how I've been feeling that work. You ain't lying.
Yeah, yeah. Life in this country is designed to be a revolving door of circumstances.
But it
Yeah.
started off so like amazing. Like I mean, just the what I'm saying, the principle foundations of it. Like everybody has the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I know we really didn't have it, but I'm just saying, just to pray. If you never heard it before, be like, okay, that kind of sounds cool, but it just got corrupted.
Read between the lines, though. It identifies pursuit. It didn't say you was gonna catch
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it just says you
It,
have the right to try and go and get it, to pursue. You
it,
absolutely right.
yeah. It never guaranteed you are going to be happy.
But you know,
It,
in some countries, you don't even have that right to pursue it. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I was talking to a Turkish guy the other day. I asked him, "What is it that you love about America?" And he said, "Well, in my country, we are not allowed to succeed. In this country, we are allowed to succeed."
yeah,
I was like, "Damn."
yeah. I
That
mean,
that breaks it down in a nutshell. That's what this freedom is about. You have the freedom to put your talent, skills, and abilities to work for you and make it do what it can do so that you can succeed and be comfortable. But in other countries, if you are born poor, you just shit out of luck.
right, right. You're absolutely right. That's why they trying to get here. I can't knock them. I understand why. We do. We
Well, it's too many of them, though. If you ask me,
yeah.
like we got a in Chicago, we have what's called the safe haven. Um,
City.
yeah, it's a safe haven city. So that means like anybody and their great grandmama could come through and try to make something of themselves. The problem is they have to get settled, and that takes getting food stamps and housing and all these benefits that usually give citizens who were born here a startup. You
Right.
know, but the immigrants are the ones that are getting the startup. You know.
Now, see, I think if they gonna be here, they should have to pay like especially if you're trying to, make it. You got to pay double the taxes.
That would be too much like right. I mean, you got to pay to play, right? If you weren't born here, you got to pay to play. But that seems too much. That seems kind of cruel to most people.
What up,
Hey,
man?
Hey, man! You want to get them? You want to get the kids off the game? You got to start talking about that black genius. And when you get off into that, then
Mm.
you got something. What's up, Mella? How you doing?
How are you, Alan?
Good. I'm chilling up here, enjoying the conversation with you guys, man. It's awesome. Y'all keep going. Don't let me interrupt.
No, I want to hear what's on your mind.
I think it's hard, man. From what I hear, you know what? Let me stop right there. Let me not say from what I hear. I feel withdrawal symptoms when I don't have my device with me. I know how I feel like my whole life has been torn apart when I don't have that phone sometimes. And I got into it. I get into a panic like I lost, like I lost one of my kids or something. When I lose the phone, I lost a family member or somebody like that. I'm like, man, what the? Come on, man. I can imagine what it's like for a person who was born into a world where you didn't know nothing but that. Man, trying to take that out of somebody's hand is like trying to take somebody's liver out. Why they and
why
with
they
no
drink
anesthesia.
it?
Without anesthesia.
Why they drink
Yeah,
it?
yeah, you got to be kidding me, man. Come on, this is so. Look, all I'm gonna say is the what did they say? Um, the cat's out of the bag, and it's gonna be hard. You can't put the cat back in the bag, man. It's out.
And it unfortunately it goes beyond principles. Like the principle is it would be nice. It would be nice to adhere to the principle of limited screen time, but that's just not the reality.
Mm.
It's not going to work. Like somebody got to figure something else out because taking these devices from these children is, like you said, performing surgery without anesthesia.
Hey,
It
I'm
it
gonna tell you how cold it
it
is.
hurts them in a deep, deep, deep way.
God, Mella, we be getting fired on my job for that. We get fired. We come back the next day, but we can get fired for the day. On the shift. Grown people, Mella, grown folks, my age, old people, and before we start a shift, they be like, they read you the policy. Hey, look, no cell phones and stuff, because they have to say it. They have to say it in the safety speech, in the routine. Man,
Hmm.
once the people finish telling you not to be on the once the bosses and stuff finish telling you not to be on the cell phone, shit,
Hmm.
they be the first ones on it, and
They
everybody's on.
are.
I'm driving big trucks, Mella. I'm driving tonnage around yards and corners, and the man coming at me, ain't he's on the phone. I'm on the phone too. I'm watching Conscious Moron. I'm supposed to be.
Hmm. We supposed to be paying attention to the road, and we on the phone.
I done ran over somebody. Yeah, this whole shit, man. You can't. Yeah, can't do it.
Yeah, it's
Whoops.
a hell of a distraction, bro.
And they'd be like,
It's
I understand, bro. I was texting too. Yeah, no problem.
I was about to hit that Candy Crush level
I was, yeah,
myself, bro.
yeah. I was over there. We both went blind nil on the spades game, and yes, I almost had it until you cut my legs out from under me. No problem.
Yeah, yeah, you have.
I remember at the Social Security office, because I am old, don't get it twisted. I
Okay.
remember at the Social Security office, there was a time when they had no cell phones allowed to be used in the waiting area, right?
Hmm.
They changed that shit. They changed that up real quick. Now you see everybody using their device in the waiting room. You
You
know,
ever watch them? You ever watch them? What they call it? I like to watch this sometimes. The First Amendment auditors. You ever watch them?
Oh yeah, yeah, I love it, man. I
Man,
love it.
they run up in the post office with the cameras on, and the girl said, the postmaster come out and said, "Hey, put those cameras down." And they ran over to the wall and read her the thing about photography and all like that. And the whole time they're
mhm.
recording the postmaster, it's about 25 cameras, all the people in line recording them. I said, man, we ain't gonna look. We're not getting away from it, man. It's too late. They done dropped
It's too
the
late.
technology bomb on us, man. It's over. Shit, it's
It's
over.
too late. They done made it.
It's too
Yeah,
much nonsense though now.
they've
Like it's not
created a
so much
new behavior, and
informative information getting pushed out. That's
Conscious
the only
Moron
thing.
couldn't take it. Mello, you couldn't take it. RBR couldn't take it. And then my old ass hopped
You
under
know
it.
what's funny? This morning, before I went to work, I left my phone. I said, "Damn, I gotta go back and get my phone."
Yeah,
But see, I gotta clock in through work. You know what I mean?
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So yeah,
it's a trip. It's a trip. I consciously, pun intended, I consciously leave my phone. Like if I'm walking to the store that's nearby, I make a serious effort. Like, okay, let's see if I cannot panic if I walk a mile without my phone. Let me see if you know what I mean? Because it's just something about having it on. I don't even have to
yeah,
use it,
because
but having it on me just makes me feel complete. And I knew that's when I was dependent on it too much. I remember when I didn't know any phone numbers by heart. I was dependent on it too much. Like vital information, like my emergency contacts, I didn't actually know their phone number. I
Yeah,
just I just had their name, on the phone.
yeah. Real talk. Real talk.
I was like, I gotta learn my emergency contact phone numbers.
Yeah.
do you remember your house number? I remember mine. Eight
I
six
rem-
two 8623.
I
Don't
remember
say
the one I grew up
don't put
with.
that out
Yeah,
there. Don't put that out there.
Oh man, it ain't these old numbers.
mine.
My
Yeah,
sister knows 535 1301.
Oh wow.
yeah.
They gave my homeboy's number. They still using that
My
one.
grandmother's phone number was 60 years old before she passed away, and it's still not in use. I call it every so often to see if anybody got it.
Girl, you better watch out.
That's how nostalgic I can get. I was like, I wonder if somebody got my grandmama number. I'm
Why
thinking
you
about
better?
getting it myself. I'm thinking about go ahead and getting it myself. Is there a way to do that you can like
You
actually?
probably request it.
Yeah, I want to request my grandmother's number for myself.
Right on. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I grew up with that phone number.
Said all the dudes was calling that number, huh?
Ah, I not necessarily. My father was on guard. He was always like, I know you're not trying to lose your virginity or some shit like that. He was this ominous presence of you are not to lose your virginity. Like he just made me afraid of boys. He was like he was never the type of man that would say like boys only want one thing. It was more so
Subconsciously.
it was more so that he would be disappointed if I was a quote unquote fast girl. Like, he just wanted me to be of moral character, and he didn't let up on always, saying that. I because I remember being interested in this one boy in high school, and he gave me a side eye look, is what we call it these days, a side eye look. And I knew what that look meant. Like, don't you get so close that you wind up losing something you can't get back type of attitude in his eyes. All he had to do was just look at me, and I knew that I couldn't get carried away with talking on the phone with boys. You know, my friends could though, so I would spend the night at their house and talk to boys.
Right.
Always a loophole. That's what America
Yep.
is. It's always a loophole, no matter.
Yeah, on every I think it was like one weekend a month I was able to spend a night at my friend's house, and she oh my gosh, she was definitely a friendly girl. And so all the boys, she would have boys over there, and boys was calling, and it was just fun. She was a lot of fun. She was a lot of fun. She grew up to be a very fine woman, so it didn't hurt her. But she was definitely friendly. Definitely. They called me Miss Goody Two Shoes back then, if you can believe that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm bullshit.
If no, seriously.
No, I'm just messing with you, man.
Yeah. It took a long. What I am now is not what I was when I was a child. Okay, I just learned to be entertaining with my voice to people. I'm not out here doing nothing for real. I'm waiting on you, Conscious. No, let me stop. Let me stop
That was
before
true.
Kev. Let me stop
That was
before
true.
Kev kick my ass. Kev, I'm saving myself for you, Kev. I was just kidding, baby.
That's all right, as long as it's good people. As long
When
as you're
you
around good
when
people.
when you leave me lonely like this, I don't know what to do with myself.
How y'all
How you
doing?
feel?
What's up,
I see you.
Conscious?
What's going
What's
on?
up, Nadia?
Now, Kev is playing a video game right now. See, even a grown man
Yeah,
is enamored with video games.
got that Call of
Actually, I'm
Duty.
not playing it. I'm just recording it, and I just posted, make that YouTube money. I ain't gonna
Yeah, I was
start
about to
spending
say, you
all
got a
that shit.
YouTube check, the gaming channel?
Hell yeah, nigga, my dog got
Oh,
He
one.
said, hell yeah. That's like,
That's where the money's. That's where the money's at.
that's where the money's at.
Yeah,
yeah,
All
nigga,
right.
hey. Hey, Conscious, I actually started my YouTube. I've been on YouTube, but I was gonna start the channel, like just enjoying the kid, being a father and shit like that, and then always doom and gloom and do the single parent father thing.
right.
Well, once I hit Black YouTube, I stopped that shit.
Say,
Yeah.
you be
Canceled
a
my
wanted
child
man out here.
support, man.
Say, that's all the way, babe.
Yeah, I stopped that bullshit, man. I just made some other things. Bomb had told me, no, Kevin, you might need another channel, baby.
Right. Right.
That's so
You might need
crazy
another
that we
channel. I
Did
said,
can.
damn right.
Did you hear the live stream earlier? How the panel that he featured was emphasizing how important it is to save the mental health of young black men. They were
No, I
suggesting,
just tagged on a minute ago. Yeah,
yeah, maybe Conscious could run through
yeah.
give a concise example of what that was
Yeah, we in
about.
bad shape. The men are in bad shape. That's why I can't even focus on that bullshit they talking about for the women, man. We got a whole lot of shit to do as men, you know,
Yeah,
to be worrying about some damn lace fronts. I never
yeah,
seen so many of them niggas say the word lace fronts in my life. Weed is
yeah,
funny.
The funny part about that is we complained about buying it, so the women started buying it. Now they still complaining, man. Shut your mouths up, man. Shit. Yeah, yeah, we got a lot of work.
well, it's a deflection from other things that's really going on with them.
Right.
I mean, as a man, you're not really concerned about a woman's lace front. You want a woman that you can confide in, and she can confide in you. And if women come off as being only concerned about superficial things, that is disheartening, I would imagine, to a man, to think that his only choices are superficial women out here,
But
because I mean, there's a lot of superficial women out here, a lot.
yeah, definitely.
And and so attacking a lace front, I guess that gets their attention, you know. I don't know.
I
But
think
these
probably
young brothers got a
everything.
hell of a mountain to climb.
They want everything. You can't, and especially in relationship, it's almost about compromising. I thought Like sometimes you ain't gonna get everything you want, but you kind of compromise and come to an understanding. Well, I'm gonna give up this, you gonna give up that, and we gonna work this out type thing. But it's kind of all my way, and you got to listen to it or get to the left. Too much extremes, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot of extremes because that's the way this society. Everything is moving so fast.
Mm.
Yeah,
You
it's already
know,
March. It's already March.
it's almost like the aliens came down and gave us technology, and because the
That's our
way
ass right here with it.
They
the
say
tech,
they just been waiting to drop it, huh?
yeah,
Bam, let's see what
the
they
way
do now.
technology, right, the way it advanced so fast within a century is remarkable.
Not even just think about the last like really 40 years. But
Yeah,
that's what I was talking to my homeboy. I was like, man, we grew up on the tapes, the CDs, to streaming. Like it's amazing. And
yeah,
there's 8 tracks, all that records. Yeah,
the power of imagination.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
Well,
definitely.
I was a fan of the Jetsons, so I always thought it was coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and somebody imagined that. Someone had to imagine that concept. So it came from somewhere, and it probably came from their imagination. Conscious was talking about how powerful imagination is earlier.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
being a
I think
dreamer.
that, yeah, like some of the concepts that we see in theaters or on cartoons, that came from somewhere. Somebody's imagination
Mhm.
thought it up.
Uh,
Well, we
You
know
know.
we know horror movies came from white folks because it would have been very short movies with black folks.
it's just gonna be us running. That's all that's gonna be. Shit.
That's
You
a
know what?
A whole lot.
Black History Month was so lame this year. What's up with that? I remember growing up, Black History Month was everything.
They trying to
Like,
get rid of it, but I want to say I think it's worthless. But if you're teaching Black history throughout the schools, then I want to say it's irrelevant to have a month. I mean, I understand the
it's
symbolism,
not irrelevant because other ethnicities, they have their Asian American month, they have their
but should we
Hispanic
just
American.
eradicate all those and just have an American month? But I thought that's what the Fourth of July
But
symbolized.
at some point, you have to be proud of your
We're a multi,
heritage.
yeah, we're a multicultural country, so that's why it's a little different, I guess.
You gotta, there's no shame in advertising what's great about your heritage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. But it ain't
You
no
know,
So you saying it should be a White History Month?
um, I don't know how they would jive. I don't know how that would work. But I think a lot of people would be offended if they called it White History Month. But
What would
you
they call
know,
it? European?
I think,
European.
yeah, I think since uh, a lot of their ancestors migrated over here, they would call it, whatever they calling it, Italian American Month,
Oh, well,
German American Month,
they got a Greek. I think they got
Dutch American Month,
they got all of them already.
Portuguese American Month. I mean, it's like
Not a whole
everybody
bit.
comes
Yeah,
from, yeah. The only people that were here,
Mexican.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. This is a melting pot. I don't know how that would work.
But
So
should we
We
just be
earned
all
our
affiliate?
damn month, though. We put our work in for our month.
Yeah, it started off as a
absolutely,
week. You absolutely right. Right. It started off as a week.
it's,
Right?
it sure
We the
did.
only group of people that they try to silence, erase their history, language,
They
all that. We
they
need to
do.
hold on. Yeah, we need to hold on to our shit. And
That's
see, that's
right.
one thing. I don't, like CRT. When I look at that, and white folks ain't gonna teach their damn kids the truth. They're not gonna teach their kids the truth. It ain't. It's not that they don't want black kids to know. They don't want white kids to know.
Oh
Black
yeah,
kids,
definitely.
we teach our own kids.
Yeah.
I don't need CRT to teach my kid her history. And I think that's what you got to focus on. But I was listening to a lady, a little TikTok video or something. White lady said the reason why they don't want us learning anything about CRT is because they don't want our
They
generations to see their grandma throwing rocks at a 6-year-old.
That's right.
You don't want them people
Because
still
that's
alive.
exactly what happened.
Right. And a 6-year-old. And look what happened just when you see Jerry Jones in the picture of the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He was there. He was all in that shit. But so they don't want that known. Jerry Jones ain't want that picture to come out. He been knew that picture was out
They
because
want to
now,
keep it a secret.
right?
And they should just call it, instead of calling it CRT or whatever they trying to play it off as, just call it, let us keep our secrets. You
But
know,
you know what the have y'all ever heard of the United Daughters of the Confederacy?
I
I heard
heard
of
of it,
it.
but I don't know what it is.
So it was a group of women who were Southerners, and after the Civil War, they started because the Southern war heroes in their eyes were dying off, and they didn't want their grandchildren to forget about them, so they started putting up all the statues, like the statues people trying to tear down today. But they
Oh, I can believe that it's supposed to be down here in the South.
yeah, but it was all across the country,
Oh yeah,
amazingly enough.
they're gonna try to hold on to that Confederacy down here. That don't surprise
Oh yeah, definitely down here. But what they said the statues weren't really effective. So what they did is they started going into the schools and they started changing I won't say the definitions, but what slavery was about. Like they started saying they had picnics and the slaves were happy and you know what I'm saying, fruitile, and it wasn't like
me.
what it really was. So they
Talking
were
about
kind of
all
the
days
first
work,
people
they
to
go
fuck
and
up the
wind down and make music and beat Jubilee and
yeah, yeah,
Jubilee and all that shit.
yeah,
They ain't
yeah,
gonna show you when they beat the skin off a nigga.
yeah, yeah,
They ain't gonna
yeah.
show
So
you
it's a
what
lot of
act.
stuff that they did, man. Like that they really don't want to really tell us. You got to really deep for that.
Well, we know it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
we know it. And they want to tell their kids.
yeah. It's sad, unfortunately. And then I was thinking about, you know what? You know who they never talk about during Black History Month? Benjamin Banneker, man.
Mm,
Dude was a genius. He designed Washington and shit.
yes, he did.
So y'all should go and look
Call
him
it
up.
Banneker City.
Yeah, yeah. Never talk about that, brother, man.
They don't want
He-
to highlight anything our people have done.
I was reading some stuff. He built like he saw
You
this
don't
clock.
have to. I will.
He saw this
We will. Yeah, that's the thing. We'll do it.
wi- this wind up clock and opened the back of it and went home and made a wood carving out of it. I mean, it made a wood carving of it. And shit. I'm like, God damn, you did that in 1770. How you do that shit? Man, that's amazing. I
That's
couldn't do
right,
that right
man. I
now.
mean, what did black people invent? The internet,
I won't say
the
everything, but a
dynamics to
lot.
get to the damn
Refrigeration.
moon.
Yeah,
Yeah. And he honestly didn't know all that shit.
yeah, it's
I said, they ain't
crazy.
gonna teach you that, man. That's too much like right. Because if they show you all the significant shit we done, then you gonna, that means we did half or not more than half of this shit, and that takes some of the glory away from white folks. And they go try to hold on to that.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
Yeah, they trying to hold on to their glory. Mm.
It ain't gonna last too
W-
much longer though. We getting it debated, and it ain't even us.
mm,
It makes them uncomfortable to see us rise.
you want to
But
piss
why?
a
They
you want
need
to
us.
piss a
They need us.
racist,
They literally kind of do need us.
yeah.
They
If
need
you
us
want
to
to
be low.
right, you want to piss a racist white person. I'm gonna say that racist white person off. Just pull up on the side. I'm doing better than them in a car that's better than theirs. That bothers them. Bothers the police. Remember back in the day, we used to ride in a nice car. The police stop you. Ride the hoopy. The police stop you.
Oh man, I done got pulled over so many times
Right.
for nothing.
My
Like
uncle had a
what?
red truck. He just got rid of it. He said, "Man, I got tired of getting pulled over." Shit.
Yo, yeah, but them red and yellow trucks. I mean, red and yellow cars. Them the first ones they gonna
Right. He
pull
had a
over.
red Dodge Ram, the new
Oh
one.
yeah, yeah, they coming out.
Right. Got another color. Yeah.
They coming out. Yeah. Oh man, it's already 9:30. I think we got a
You
few more minutes. Dang.
you remember when Michelle Obama was drafting the initiative for better lunches at schools and how
Yeah.
all the Caucasian people were in uproar about it. And as it turns out, now they're begging for health care and good food.
Right.
Right. Right, because we did it. They got to do it. They ain't going to accept it unless they did it. Michelle,
Hmm.
I couldn't believe that though, Mel. Like, god damn, these motherfuckers going against healthy food, fruits and vegetables.
Healthy food.
Don't cut off
They
their
talking
nose to
about
spite their
mad at
face, man.
fruits and vegetables and planting gardens.
Yep.
How you get mad at that for a first lady? We had this old ragtag ass stripper bitch up in there, just
And then she wasn't even American, Kev. That's the other issue. She wasn't even American, yo. I'm
I
like,
know. Like,
what?
was she even legal? Was
I
she a?
think she had became, once they got married. Did
Oh,
it?
okay.
She was
yeah, well,
married,
you
but
was
they were
married
married
before that.
before he went to announce. So she was legal before he came down the escalator. But I'm just saying, man, Trump was everything they wanted Obama to be, and they just was cool with that motherfucker. He lied, man. I mean, everything. Cheated everything.
Oh yeah. Goddamn.
Obama couldn't even wear a tan suit.
They went
Right,
crazy.
that was an uproar. Then you pull up a picture with Ronald Reagan with the same color suit, and then
You
put it
know
in the picture.
what?
Ronald Reagan did it. And I just heard Trump try to take credit for the VA, fixing the VA and some other shit. He just did that. The reporter said that's inaccurate. Obama had the veterans. He fixed the veterans
He
hospital.
sure did.
Right, and then something else he said he did. He passed something else. He was the first. No, Obama passed that too. Job role
Hmm.
the first January. That was Obama too.
It's
Ain't got
called propaganda.
right.
He's just gonna lie. Trump
But I
is
mean,
just gonna
at a certain
lie
point,
and
though,
lie and
like
lie.
Alan said, you cutting off your nose to spite your face, man. I mean, just
Yeah,
damn.
but you know what he said? It works. And he know that a lot of white Americans don't care if them motherfucker lying or not. That's some of that backlash from Obama. I knew he was gonna get it.
Yeah, he still got a chance. Don't get it twisted. He still got a chance. Though.
Oh yeah, he still got a chance. They need to hurry up and prosecute his ass.
Better be careful.
Own chance.
Still got a chance. Make sure y'all vote. Register to vote. But I don't know if he gonna make the primary though. He might be tough. I think DeSantis.
I don't think he's gonna make the primary.
Yeah, DeSantis might take me a little bit younger. He can coin himself as the new Trump.
But
Aaron
Lori,
anything's
Rodgers.
possible.
Lightfoot lost the race.
Yeah, yeah, she did. I voted yesterday, and it was shocking to find out that no, it wasn't shocking when I really understood that the guy that won, he's backed by the Chicago Police Department and the
Right.
teachers union.
That's what I'm
Mm.
about
So
to say. The
he
police.
was a shoe in.
Right, right.
He a Democrat?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I
as
mean,
far as I know. But
mhm. Oh,
um
so what is this? This just a primary?
he's the one that's going to run up against whoever
Okay, okay.
later on.
Primary.
But they had to get this over with first. I'm not politically savvy like that. I just knew it was time to vote. So I
Who did
went
who did he
ahead.
beat? Did he
That's
beat
more than a
Lightfoot?
lot of
Was
people.
that Lori Lightfoot that got beat?
Yeah, Lori got beat. Yep.
Okay.
I think she cried. If I heard the news on the radio correctly, I think she cried.
How
I
many?
heard her, I heard the
Who was that?
strain in her voice. She was like, "We did a good job. We did a good job."
But
she was
it was only a few things, and I'm on the outside looking in.
She's the first mayor in history that didn't get a that's not going to be allowed to run a second campaign.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
That's a blow. You're right.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is a
that
blow.
had yeah.
She out there feeling like Trump.
That's worse than Trump, though. Damn, not to even. Well, damn, not to even go for it though. Oof.
Oh yeah, not to even get the
At
nomination.
least she can say she was mayor once. She'll be she'll be all right.
There's a lot of people who don't get to
I
say
know
that. You
time to
absolutely right.
Yeah, she'll be all right. She'll
Nigga.
be all right.
Melody,
Hey, don't
this
be
is a
surprised if
bad
you see the
job.
new mayor try to get in there and start. They can start running that campaign about the crime in Chicago, man. I think that's what's coming down the
That's
pipeline.
what he lied about. That's how he won. He
Yeah.
lied saying that Chicago's going to be the safest city in America.
And that's going to entail a whole lot of nastiness.
Yeah, that's going to take a lot of people are going to get harassed
Be better than New Orleans, man. This shit is ridiculous down here, Mella.
Is that right?
Oh, it's
They
fucking.
carjacking and stuff.
No, I'm talking about just the mayor alone. I
Just
don't
the
bring it up.
corruption, you mean?
Huh?
Yeah, the corruption.
I'm talking
Kickback.
about corruption, saying fuck you on the mic at Mardi Gras. Them hoes don't
What?
like that. Fucking
What?
one of the fucking two or three of the police officers that's on the security, traveling with the nigga $30,000 in expenses from here to Ghana, private parties.
Whoa.
Wait a minute. Is this a
They bogus. That's
I'm
bogus.
not kidding you. I'm gonna put. I ain't really want to bring it out on Bond Channel because she just happened to be a female. But you know, I'm hard on all the males. You know, especially when they messing over their own people in the city.
she getting how she live,
You
huh?
know, and they got a recall on her ass. They got a petition, and then she went after the people that did the petition. So the petition is it's a mainly black city. This ain't white folks. Black folks like, nah, man, you got to go. This shit ain't right. But she got all kind of. I'll give you a little couple of things. She set up what they call a New Orleans Entertainment Corporation, right, to oversee entertainment. Gave that to one of the richest white boys in the fucking city that own a bunch of bars, just so she can get a little kickback on it. That and increased the budget by 500,000 by adding that. We down 600 police officers, and then she get on what is it? Uh, one of those 60-minute shows or something like that, one of the political shows, and it was talking about the crime and everything. She said, "Oh no, we doing good. No, we ain't, man. We back up in the 1990s. We number one in murder again.
Oh wow.
It's in the top 5 or 10. You got New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Shreveport.
Oh
Ooh.
Lord Jesus.
All three of them in there. And our crime getting worse, and I see it's falling apart. So it's one of them kind of situations. But she was dating the cop who was doing the details. She had 4 officers. Every other man had one. While she traveling with the officer, they're going to, she went to Brad Pitt birthday. She went to 5, 6 places with this man. The cop wife filed for divorce and said that, you know, because they cheat. She found out, right? And her husband filed for divorce. While she on the trips with one of the officers, the other 3 officers on the clock. They busted her. They on the clock. They've been for the last 4 years. These niggas been getting paid damn near $100,000. That's 300,000 extra. When our kids still read on a fucking 4th grade level. That's the shit I don't respect. You ain't nobody helped the YMCA. They got home the roof leaking. None of the levee still ain't fixed. And you then created over $1 million budget. Not to mention, I ain't done yet. She set up a non-profit in her name and then took $1 million of the city money, donated to the non-profit, knowing that she can get 25% out the shit.
Damn, man.
Damn.
How are you even allowed to do that? That's the first.
Damn.
Is this a white lady?
No, it's a black woman
Oh wow.
from Pittsburgh.
Oh my goodness.
She ain't even from the South.
Wow, that's
That's why
wow.
they like, you can leave whenever you want.
Wow.
Mm.
Oh man,
It's sad.
we gonna have to. I'm gonna have to look this one up, man. I'm gonna have to look this.
I'm about to send it to you now. I got all this. I was gonna do a show on it.
Okay.
All right. Part 1, 2, and 3 on her. It's bad, man. Hold on, I'm gonna send it to you in the back chat. That way I got news clippings of it.
All right. Yeah, man. It's unfortunately it's about that time. I gotta get ready for this work. But y'all got any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
No, Conscious, thanks for the chance to join the panel. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You know, you was the first guest, Melly. You was my first guest, so I'm always have a spot for you,
Oh, thank you.
VIP. So I appreciate you, Mr. Allen. I appreciate you as well, Mr.
Actually, I'm gonna go live in a
No,
second.
thank you, man. It was great. It was great being here. Good to be with all the panelists and everything, man. It was awesome.
Man, yes, man. You want to say anything before we get up out of here? You drop your channel in the chat. Do I got you?
I didn't drop it, but yeah, I do want to say, you know
drop
what?
it, bro, so we know what's happening.
I can't see the I'm backstage. I can't see the chat on my thing. I can't type in there.
I dropped it in there for you.
But I wanted to say that the science fiction, the imagination part, I want to get into that. And yeah, I love the people that are dealing with science fiction. I want to see more Black youth get into science fiction, and that kind of goes in with the whole keeping it real thing. Like everybody wants you to keep it real. Like when it came to hip hop, you know, you had to really have street cred, and what you was talking about had to be like you really did that. But no, it's art, and you should be
Yeah,
allowed.
you had to be creative.
Yeah, you should be allowed to be creative. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah, I like this. I like that. I think that's going to be big for us. Thank you.
All right, man. Appreciate your pull up. How about you, Mr. Kev 504? You drop your channel in the chat.
Oh, I did it last rip, Doc, but I'm about to show you. I'm about to drop this American Trail, the Toya Contrail link in the chat for you to check that out.
Hey, Shay, how you doing? Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can go to WWLTV and they got nothing but that. See, they got a reporter on that's following all that stuff. Here you go. Let's share it right now. More high speed. Gotcha, you got to work in the what, early?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
breakfast?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man, Conscious, you got to hit
Breakfast
that.
and lunch. Get in, get out.
You got to hit
At
that.
least,
If you make it to New Orleans, I'll bring you to my old job and let you walk in the kitchen, man.
Okay.
All I gotta do there. Ralph, my boy from out of town.
All right. Okay. You know what? That might be something to do. I
Yeah.
can stream it and everything. Shit. Give me some
Kev make
rice and some shrimp on touffet.
Kev always make me want to run away from home
Oh, shit.
and go down to New Orleans.
On the run. Beyonce and
Good
Jay-Z.
here. You always gotta play here, man. Always. Certain
All
kind of
right.
people, then you're good. Same thing with conscious, man.
Oh, man, I
I
appreciate
guess
it.
I'm just old school with it.
Man, I appreciate
Well,
that.
how I put this in the bag?
I've been looking for somebody to be nice to.
Ooh, I don't, you know what? Cause this street, I don't know.
Sometimes it's hard to find.
Y'all think I'm playing? Okay.
Listen, shit, I ain't playing. All right,
I've
Ken,
been looking for somebody to be nice to. I really have. I'm just like, I don't know. You
I
know,
can't put that in the chat. I don't know why I can't put it in the chat, conscious.
you,
But you got a back chat for this
yeah,
one?
yeah.
This is
If
my
you
first
if
time
you
on.
look up on, I don't know if on my screen you can see the little it say open chat. It might have like a little circle and some lines
Top
that
or bottom?
it should be at the top. But I'm on my computer, so it might be a different setup.
Oh, all right. I stretched it out. All right, I got it. Hold on. Yeah, let me this time of night.
But you know what? I mean, just come to the playback, and I definitely go because you know I'm gonna look at this again, and I just come to the end and people. You said it's about the mayor.
Yeah, that's all right, man. I'll send it to your email. I'm not send it on here though.
that mayor is bogus. Like, what the heck?
Yeah,
I want to
And
definitely
I'm
want to
sure
get
that's just the
that.
tip of the iceberg as to all the stuff. And she's not even from there.
yeah, that's even
Like,
crazy.
No.
how?
Hold on 1 second, conscious.
It's like somebody told her to exploit New Orleans or something.
I think
It's
she
like,
just started feeling herself, Mel.
she
She just
what?
thought, that power got to her. I think she just started feeling herself, smelling of herself or something. The power got
Do
to
you
her,
think
something.
she'll get arrested or indicted or anything?
No, I think the officer would because
Okay.
her things are mostly frowned upon. But those officers taking money for details, three of them around the damn clock, 16 hours, 14 hours a day, and they wasn't even around this woman. Then
Hmm.
they got pictures of this woman coming out, the cops coming out of the apartment, not a house, the mayor's apartment. One dude
Mm.
go in, they're like, well, what y'all was doing for 8 hours in the apartment? Then another dude went in.
Wow.
Oh, all right,
Hmm.
there we go. Okay,
Damn.
hold on. This is something I recorded. Right. Then this is just the part. This dude here named Lee Zurich. He's one of our head investigators,
Mm.
news reporter. That's her. That's her going in. That's the mayor's apartment, which is right there by the French Quarter, or right there by Jackson Square, man.
Hmm. Mm.
Yeah,
What
Jeffrey
happened?
Vampy is the dude he having an affair with.
Oh, I think we, yeah. Uh,
Yeah, we breaking up. But that you'll get it at the bottom. At the bottom, you can pull it up later. Big dog, we're gonna let you go.
all right, y'all. I appreciate y'all coming, man.
All right. Have a good evening.
I'm gonna
All
go
right,
live
y'all too.
in a few
Okay.
minutes, Mel. I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna go in
All
detail and show it to you. All right, Conch. Have a good one, bro.
All right, y'all. Be safe. All right, my love. All right, y'all. Man. I want to thank y'all for coming through. Appreciate the pull up as always. You are always appreciated. So we're gonna get up out of here. Work comes early in the morning for a sucker like me, I guess. Hey, Carol, appreciate the pull up. But y'all have a good night. Y'all don't do nothing I wouldn't do. And this time I'm gonna try and end it right with the stream. It was like the intro and the outro in the beginning. But y'all be good.